I cannot figure out why my nose is so shiny. I have buffed it. I have done, well, for one thing, I have a light in my face. I have to have a light in my face so you guys wouldn't be able to see my features. But I think that's why my nose is shining. Nothing else is shiny. I look just nice and matte, but just the tip. I don't know. Anyway, I don't care. Yeah, it's not like anybody's gonna see it. But my grandkids will see it. My grandkids will see it. And someone will see it one day. Someone will see it one day. I have faith. Someone will see it someday. Because it came to me out of the blue. Well, actually, no. I had said all along, like I've said before, that um when I finished my book, that's why I told everybody I'm gonna get on YouTube, you know. And then just one day it just struck me out of the blue, I think it had been one of those days, one of those days. And I remember just coming home and thinking, well, you got makeup on already. Just go on and put some, you know, uh, video makeup on and go for it. Have some fun. So, and I really do think it's fun. It's exciting. I know why people love to do it because it's so much fun. So, what I was going to talk about, I started at the end of the last video talking about the book Misery by Stephen King. Misery, The Shining, and The Dead Zone. I read a couple of others of his, but those are the best three, in my humble opinion. Um, oh, and Pet Cemetery, but I don't have a copy of that now. Oh, Pet Cemetery. Now, it wasn't on what you think. It wasn't anything about hurting animals. It wasn't anything about that. But it was very well written, I thought. I can't look at the movie. I can't look at that stuff. But the book was good. And Misery is about a writer who, and I think we had to read it for class. I think we did. Um, he's a writer, and he has a car accident, and it's just so happened that the his greatest fan finds him. This woman who lives in a secluded farm kind of place all by herself, and um, she's gone, off the edge a little bit, but she she rescues him, and it's a lot of stuff involved with it. But at one point, she tells him, well, there's no phone. I can't. It's nowhere I can call for help. We have to wait till it thaws, and stuff like that. And she brings him this old typewriter to use, and she tells him, I think he gets to, I can't remember what leads up to the fact that he better finish the book. He better write the book. He better finish the book. And he kind of in the back of his mind knows he's done for when he finishes the book. And so it's a lot of him trying to get rid of her, telling her he needs a certain kind of typing paper. She goes and he gets out of the room because she's hobbled him. She's put, like they used to do this with slaves. You put a piece of a log or something between the person's ankles, and then hit the outside of the ankle. So you were hobbled. You couldn't move. So she's done this to him, and I'm getting it mixed up because it's years since I read it. But the incredible part of it to me was in the end, he oh well, because one time, okay, he writes one finish, and she doesn't like it. Because when I think the last thing he wrote, he had killed the main character or something, and she didn't like that. She wanted to the real character to, so he's just trying to type anything, to save his freaking life. He doesn't care, at this point. And that must be a freedom that real writers don't ever have. Just that, look, this is it, so just whatever, but I'm just going to write what I want to write. And well, at first he just writes something to get finished, just anything that he thinks will please her. She doesn't like it. And so he starts to rewrite it. And when he starts to rewrite it, he starts really writing. I mean, really, really writing. And she's reading page after page after page, and she's all loving it. So in the end, um, and he finds out all this crazy stuff about her, that she's crazy. She was a nurse, that she was suspected of killing newborns in the newborn hospital, and all this crazy stuff. He goes through her some kind of way. He gets out the room. I can't remember what he does, and she's giving him these sleeping pills, and he's trying to hide them and give them to her, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Um, the stuff he does to try to get out of there. Finally, it's just a battle. And what ends up happening is she at the end he thinks, well, I'm going, but you're not going to get the main thing you want. You will not get this manuscript. And I can't remember what he burns it in. It doesn't make. I can't remember what he actually burns it in, but and how he gets it to I don't know, where he must have got some lighter fluid from somewhere. Anyway, he decides that, well, you're gonna kill me when I'm done, but you're not gonna get these words. You are not gonna get this book. And like I was saying in the other video, that he um, has a ritual that he goes through after he has one glass of wine and one cigarette or something like that every time he finishes a book. And she uh, brings him the cigarette, brings him the match, and he flicks the match and throws it on the on the manuscript, and then that's when the battle ensues. Because he's been getting stronger. She gave him a really old typewriter, one of those huge big typewriters, and he's been getting better, but not letting her know he's getting better. And he's been lifting this typewriter. There's scenes in the movie where he's lifting this typewriter, getting stronger and stronger, and trying to, till he knows, what's going to happen. He knows that when he gets done, she's going to try and kill him. And it ends up with him okay. It ends up with him winning the battle. He killed her or something. I can't remember. But he the last scene in the movie is just kind of crazy. Is him and his publisher are in the restaurant. He's fine. It's a couple of years, I guess, after all the stuff she'd done to him. But they're in the restaurant, and his publisher or agent or whoever it is says, "Well, why don't you write your experience?" Locked up with the crazy woman for almost 2 years, because he was there a very long time. He was there long enough for seasons to actually change. And um, I can't remember what else. And so, the writer character goes, oh, write down the worst thing that's ever the worst experience of my life. You just want me to write that down, yeah. So, I thought I liked that. I thought that was kind of a funny, and then when some waitress comes by and goes, "Oh, I'm your biggest fan," and he freaks all out. So, and I guess he keeps having these post-traumatic stuff. But I mean, the movie ends well with him just kind of saying, "Oh no, I don't think so." But I think, if I'm not mistaken, he does publish the rendition that he wrote at the crazy woman's house. Disclaimer: don't own misery. Please don't bother. Don't bother suing me. Please don't. I mean, come on. There are most important things to do with the jurors. Judicial system has real people to worry about, and people who mean to harm other people, and people who have had real bad things happen to them, uncalled for things happen to them. The judicial system is not for suing some YouTuber for mentioning the name of a movie. Don't be ridiculous. Um, what was I going to start talking about? Children at the camp were made to. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Um, Something that came to me. I think somebody wanted to know. why I didn't, this is the second book now, why I didn't have the children go to the camp with their parents. Um, well, for one thing, their parents kind of knew that, something was up. Most people who took their children with them took their children because you take your kids when you're moving. I mean, you don't leave them at the old place. And they were under the impression that they were going somewhere to be resettled. So of course they took their children with them. This couple kind of realized something's not right, and so before and then they realize that they're going to be transported. I don't know how they find out. Um, and so what they end up doing is, like I said before, leaving their children with his mistress. Knowing that she had the capability and the resources to keep them safe. But I didn't put the children going to the camp because I didn't want to, for one thing. And she wouldn't have lived long if the children, because I think the children, they're kind of between, mm, they're not big, they're not teenagers. I mean, they're like maybe 6 and 5 or 7 and 6 or something like that. I know my main character, her daughter's about 6, maybe 4, 5, 6 in there, something like that. Um, and I didn't, and if a woman showed up at the camp with children that young, she was gone. She was gone. So, when I was, what I was thinking about when I wrote that note was that, number one, yeah, I did not want the children there. That's something I didn't want to write. Um, and I was talking about in a couple of other videos about the book The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, that it's about, oh, look, you can see the window. I got the camera in a really weird place. See that out the window. I was going to say, oh yeah, that The Boy in the Striped Pajamas is about a boy who's in the prison camp, in the concentration camp, and the commandant's son, who is just out exploring like a boy does through the woods. The commandant's house was outside the camp. And his little boy, has just come from Berlin, where he had all these friends and all this space to run and play and all this stuff, to this lockdown. You might as well say he can't even go in the back yard. Um, because his father's the commandant of the camp, and he's trying to keep things, um, away from his family. He wants to keep his family away from that stuff. But the little boy, some kind of way, gets out the house, from under his mother's eye for 2 seconds. You know how you turn your back, and goes to, exploring through the woods, and comes up upon the camp, and comes up on this little boy sitting like on some concrete dirt, and they start a relationship. They start talking. But what had come to me was something I had read before, and something I wondered about in The Boy with the striped pajamas, because what would happen would be if, say, the commandants had children, small children, they would get children from the camp to play with their children. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a equal thing. They basically were, I don't know what went on, but I mean, it would be pretty plain that these were people. They weren't real peers to the children. They were basically like play, like toys, like play toys. So that's why when in The Boy with the Striped Pajamas, I was like, well, wouldn't the commandant have just got, because he has a daughter and a son, and they're isolated. There's no, they have a tutor come in, that kind of thing. And I was sitting there thinking, they would have had, he would have brought kids from the camp to play with his kids. I would think they had servants, the people who took care of the house and stuff, from the camp. They had people from the camp doing all that kind of work. So, and I know for a fact, like like single officers and people like that had, beautiful maids. They went through all the women, picked out the prettiest ones, and some of them were basically like sex slaves, and young boys as well, and little boys as well. Hear about all this stuff going on because they had no conscience. There was going to be no repercussions because they were going to kill these people anyway. When they got tired of one, they just send her or him on and get another one. So I didn't want to expose any children to that sort of I just didn't want to. I didn't want the children there, and I thought it would be better if the children were saved because I don't know what I would do. I don't know how I would make the decision of whether it was safer to bring my child with me or leave my child behind. I wouldn't want to ever have to make a decision like that, but this woman does, and it shows a lot of strength because she and it's just crazy to me, which I mean I made it up, but it's still good. That she leaves her children with her husband's mistress. That's kind of crazy. But, like I said before. So let's see, do I have any time to anything else? So yeah, so that's why the kids aren't in the camp. I don't want to exploit children, basically. The stuff you said. Okay, that's gonna take a lot more. Um, I had thought that my female lead character, the reason that she is in Switzerland in the first place is that she had just gotten the engagement at the club. But then I thought, how would she know Madame? But in those days, those kind of nightclubs, you know what? Maybe she maybe that's why her parents are in England. Maybe she was in England. And no, 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 she wouldn't be. She wouldn't be because she wouldn't be. Okay, no, 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 no. I gotta change that. Okay, I gotta change that. Um, maybe she just got the engagement, so she's blowing off some steam in in Switzerland before she starts her, and the grandparents are there to watch her daughter, so she's fine with going away for a while. As a matter of fact, that's the last time she sees her parents um, before the war is over. Yeah, well, she sees them again. Yeah, she does. She sees them again, but she doesn't see them because, of course, war breaks out, and she doesn't. She, of course, and they can't come back and forth, or just buzz on across the ocean, because come on, there's a war going on. But I can't figure it out. Well, at first I had that they were I gotta get a sip of juice. That the club was being redecorated, renovated, and that's why she took the opportunity, and her parents are there to watch her daughter, so she takes the opportunity to go to Switzerland, and that's where she meets him. So we're kind of winding down. I want to get into some other stuff about a conversation between them that came to me this morning. Um, and I think that's the one I'm going to put on Facebook, or maybe this one. I don't know. We'll see.